All right, everyone, let's get right into it. CES is in the rearview mirror, so now our focus shifts to what is, without a doubt, the biggest event in the entire biopharma world, the JP Morgan Healthcare Conference. We're going to break down all the key takeaways and what they're signaling for the industry in the year ahead.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll quickly cover why this conference is such a big deal. Then, we'll dive into the single most important shift happening in the bio market right now. From there, we're going to look at three massive trends driving this shift. We're talking obesity drugs, cancer treatments, and the whole investment scene. And finally, we'll connect all those dots back to the key Korean companies you need to be watching.
Okay, so first things first, let's just set the stage. Why does this one single event happening in San Francisco have such a massive impact on the entire global industry?
Well, you'll often hear it called the CES of biotech. And you know what? That's a really great comparison. Just like CES kind of sets the whole agenda for consumer tech for the year, this conference is where the tone is set, where the big deals start, and where the future of healthcare technology really gets mapped out. Yeah, this is the annual get-together. Everyone who is anyone in this industry converges here. We're talking the giants, big pharma companies like Pfizer, all the way to these nimble little biotech startups, plus all the venture capitalists and investors with the money. And they're all there, really, for one reason: to scout out the next big thing and to hammer out the mergers, acquisitions, and licensing deals that are going to shape the market for the entire year.
Okay, so now let's get to the most important takeaway from this year's conference, because we are seeing a huge fundamental shift in how companies are competing and how they're thinking about creating value.
So here's the bottom line. The old playbook, it's getting tossed out. It used to be that you'd wait for a drug to be almost finished, then you'd swoop in and buy it. The new game is all about preemptively locking down the foundational next-generation platform technologies. You know, it's a shift from buying a single golden egg to buying the goose that can lay them for years. Sure, it's a higher risk, but the potential reward? It's nothing less than dominating entire markets.
And our first key trend is a perfect example of this exact shift: the ongoing revolution in obesity treatments. And this isn't just about a new drug anymore, it's about a whole new delivery platform.
For years now, the market's been all about injectable GLP-1 drugs. These things work wonders, but let's be honest, injections just aren't for everyone. So now the entire conversation is moving to step 2, oral drugs. An effective pill isn't just a small step, it's a massive platform change that could blow the market wide open by making treatment so much easier and more accessible for millions of people.
And this is where you can see that direct line between the global giants and the innovators back home. All eyes are on leaders like Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk. Everyone's waiting to see how fast they're moving on their oral drugs. Any little hint they drop sends shockwaves through the market, and that directly affects Korean companies like Hanmi, G2G Bio, and Olic, who are in a race to develop their own oral delivery platform.
All right, let's move from there to our second huge trend. This time, it's in oncology, where one specific platform technology is really emerging as the clear favorite for the future of fighting cancer. And that technology is called antibody-drug conjugate, or ADC. And this is just a brilliant illustration of the industry's push for precision. Seriously, think of it like a biological guided missile. It uses an antibody as a homing system to find a cancer cell, and only then does it release its powerful drug payload. You get maximum impact right on the target with minimum collateral damage to healthy cells. It's a game changer.
So the big question hanging over the whole conference is, who's next? Which of the pharmaceutical giants is going to be the next one to announce a big deal, a new partnership, or a huge investment to get their hands on a powerful ADC platform? This is where the M&A action is expected to be absolutely fierce. And that brings us perfectly to our third and final trend, the money. Because the way capital is flowing right now directly confirms the industry's intense hunger for these new platform technologies.
Yeah, the consensus on this is crystal clear. Big Pharma is sitting on mountains of cash, and a lot of their biggest blockbuster drugs are about to lose patent protection. So what does that mean? It means they are on the hunt. They're ready to spend, and spend heavily, to buy up the next wave of innovation to secure their futures.
And this is creating an incredibly exciting environment. We're talking aggressive M&A, where whole companies get bought out. We're seeing really interesting strategic partnerships form. And all this new cash pouring in is forcing everyone to reevaluate the worth of biotechs that own these promising platforms. This has investors on a serious hunt for the next 10-bagger. That's just Wall Street talk for a stock that gives you 10 times your money back. Everyone is looking for that company with truly explosive potential.
So, how does all this global buzz translate to the Korean market? Let's bring it all home and look at which specific names are really in the spotlight at this year's conference.
Okay, first up, you've got the heavyweights. You have Samsung Biologics, the manufacturing powerhouse, and they're facing big questions about their global expansion, especially their U.S. factory plans and how the Biosecure Act might affect them. Then you've got Celltrion. For them, it's all about execution, as the market is watching for strong U.S. sales of their key drug Zymfintra and listening for any whispers about their own M&A plans.
And beyond those giants, you have other key players at really critical junctures. Altigen, for instance, is navigating some legal issues that could really impact its platform. Then you have ABL Bio, which is a perfect example of that ADC trend we talked about. Investors are watching them like a hawk for any new licensing deals. And finally, there's D&D Pharma, which is getting a lot of attention for its work in MASH, which is another really high-interest area for drug development.
So when you boil it all down, this year's conference really solidifies a new reality. And it's captured perfectly by this one idea. The game has fundamentally changed. It's not just about having one good product anymore. It's about owning the underlying technology platform that can create a whole pipeline of products.
And this leaves us with a critical, forward-looking question. If the old way was to find a blockbuster drug, the new way is to find a blockbuster platform. That next huge success story, that 10-bagger stock everyone is searching for, is almost certainly going to come from a company that owns one. The only question is, which technology will it be? Oral obesity treatments, ADCs, or maybe something else entirely that's just emerging? That's what the entire industry is trying to figure out right now.